Okay, to change the background color of an image to black, you are going to need to first select your subject. So if you go to any of these selection tools, especially underneath here, you are going to see this select subject button pop up. So generally, like, you can go ahead and click and use the object select tool, or you can just go to select subject and it does a pretty good job. So you got to let it load. But anytime you select something, then you're going to go to select and mask, and then you're going to kind of refine the edge. So generally I'll like drag the radius, that dissolves the edge a little. And then there's this new feature that just at the top, you just click refine hair. And it does a really good job of just making the edge of the hair look natural. But any of these tools too, you can use to help bring back things if they've been lost. So this tool, the solid brush tool, if you are on the plus sign, it'll bring back parts of the picture, or the minus sign will take it away. But I really like the wispy brush tool because it will kind of dissolve the edge a bit. So sometimes a little too much, I just Control Z to undo it. But I can make my brush a little tinier so it's not as strong. And I can kind of get these edges to look a little more natural so they're not so choppy. So if I'm specifically looking to cut her out and put her on a different backdrop, then this might work okay. If I'm wanting to make the background black, then I could feather her a bit, like make it a little softer on the edge. That will kind of blend it a bit. And then sometimes I go down to the bottom and even like shift the edge, so move it in a little, but that's kind of interfering with her face. So I don't want to do that too much. It was interfering here. So I can play with all these adjustments. You just want to get the edge to look natural. And I'm looking at it on this different view. I like to look at it kind of on all different views to make sure it looks okay. Okay, when I'm done, I'm just going to hit OK. And then from here, we're going to actually target the background, everything except her. So we have to go to the select menu. And we're going to go to inverse. So now it's grabbing the background and not her, but the edges of her are still really nicely refined. So you're selecting the background essentially after you've refined the edge. And then you're going to go to edit, and you're going to go to fill, and you're going to go to black. And then Control D to deselect. And now it's on a nice black background. So you could do the same thing with something like this. It just might not be as clean because it wasn't on a backdrop originally. But if I go to select subject, it's a large function, so it just takes a minute. And then I'm going to go here to refine it. It had a little bit of issue down here with his little feet and paws. So this is where it might get a little messy. Like, I can bring some of that back. And then I can also take the fur brush and kind of soften the edge of the fur a little so it looks more like hair. And then I'm not sure how this would look. I probably would crop this in a little. But basically, that's all I would do. And then I'd hit OK. And then I would go to select and inverse, edit, fill, and I chose black. And there's other colors too. There's white and gray. But black works really well. And then I can Control D to deselect it. And then you can see there are some areas I should probably go back and fix, but it gives you an overview. I could even go in right now to fix those and add it, like use some paint to kind of clean up some of that, like with a black paintbrush, since it's pure black anyway. That should work pretty well. Okay, so some of that was tricky because of the bottom. Real quickly with her as well, if you have a picture like this and you just want to extend the background, because I feel like it's, if I add anything to it, it's a little cropped, I can take the crop tool and just drag out the background to any size and hit enter. But a great feature about this is if you take the selection tool and you select that white area, and I like to actually over select it. So I'm going to kind of grab the rectangle selection tool and just overlap the selection a little. You can go up to edit and fill. And then you can go up to content aware, and it's going to do its best to average out the colors in the background and kind of fill that area in with the background. Control D, and it kind of seamlessly fills in that background. It doesn't always work perfectly, but it worked pretty good this time.